Hello guys, this is MagikuMaggiVA, founder of Mokurin Productions and director and author of Nightmare Palette. Before you watch this video, please make sure that you've watched the trailer. Due to this video having no art, some scenes will be a little confusing along the lines of character voices. A version with art will be posted at a later date, but for now, please enjoy the very first chapter of my passion project and fan story, Nightmare Palette.
A thrill is a life once experienced. An experience is a lesson once learned. I remember hearing that a lot when I was small, but it was usually just because I was being scolded for laziness. I never really thought it had any meaning until I was much older and away from home. 3 years ago, I was visiting Popstar to get inspiration. Its beautiful landscapes and inhabitants were what caught my eye. I thought it was a good idea to go alone, not bringing friends or members of my family. Boy, was I wrong. My name is Adeleine, and I was attacked and possessed not once, but twice by this evil. I don't remember much about being possessed, except for being filled with rage. Undying rage. I wanted to fight, and that urge to fight never died down. But then, Kirby was able to defeat it. Thank goodness he was there. When I came to, I couldn't help but cry. My heart was so full of dread. I ended up sitting there with Kirby, apologizing over and over again to him. He seemed confused, but smiled and tried to cheer me up. The first time, he continued on without my help. Before I knew it, a year had passed. I had pushed the events into the back of my mind and forgotten, until I was possessed again. I had that same feeling as before. I felt that same rage, that same anger, that same urge to fight. I hated feeling like that. But I couldn't fight it. It was way too strong. But then Kirby saved me again. But this time, things were different. After Kirby saved me from that evil, I went along with him and his companions on that journey. I thought it was the only way to make up for what I had done, or what I could have done. Even if my power was no use in combat, the least I can do was help with my art. We eventually defeated that evil and saved not just Popstar, but the entire Gamble Galaxy. It was thrilling, heartwarming to know that the little bit I did helped save an entire galaxy. I was never so happy in my life. On Ripplestar, the last planet we visited, we were all rewarded with a crystal shard medallion. It was so beautiful, I almost couldn't take my eyes off of it. Just holding it in my hands made me feel like a hero, even though the real hero was Kirby. But regardless, I promised myself and everyone that I would never, ever fall to be evil's victim or accomplice ever again. My life afterwards was quite peaceful. I traveled around a little bit to get more inspiration, but I never strayed too far from Popstar. I had turned it into my home, and 2 years later, that's where it stayed. I made myself at home in a cabin in the woods of Dreamland. It was rather peaceful there, and it wasn't too far from Cappy Town, not to mention the scenery was beautiful there. Although, living there wasn't as pleasant as I expected. Some of the residents of Dreamland were very friendly, but others, well, they weren't too happy with the human living amongst them. You see, I was the only human being on Popstar, at least to anyone's knowledge. To make it short, besides Kirby and Waddledee, I didn't have too many friends, but I was okay with that. I wasn't harassed too much, but I still could have lived without the little bit that I endured. Regardless, I loved my peaceful life just the way it was. But lately, something strange has been happening. I usually have weird dreams after adventures, mainly because my mind is still set on what might happen, or simply some mishaps might replay in my head. However, this night in particular was much different. In my dream, I opened my eyes. My vision blurred at first, but soon cleared to show that I was floating in a dark room.
Hello?
What is this?
Well, well. Looks like we've got another one.
She's a cute little thing. Is she worth recruiting?
Don't worry, she's worth something if she's here.
I looked up to see 4 beings floating in a circle around me. Who are you?
You don't need to know our names, Adeleine. They're not of importance.
How do you...
And you need not worry about how we know you.
The boss has been watching you recently. He senses great things within you.
According to him, you can paint things to life. You even went against Kirby a couple of times.
No, you don't understand. That wasn't me. I was...
Oh, but it was you. No matter how hard you try, there's no mistaking that the person that attacked Kirby with her art was you.
But... I was possessed. I couldn't control myself. I didn't...
Oh, but you did, little cutie. You can only break from possession in 2 ways. By having it get knocked out of ya!
Or, if you hate the feeling. And judging by your reactions to it, very much liked that feeling.
No. I hate that feeling the most. I don't like being the bad guy.
We shall see about that, Adeleine. We shall see.
With that, the beings faded into the darkness. Suddenly, I could feel myself falling. There was no ground to break my fall, nothing to grab onto for safety. The only thing I could do was scream as I tumbled endlessly into the darkness. I woke up panting and sweating. For a moment, I couldn't tell where I was. Then I realized I was looking at my room upside down. I had nearly fallen out of my bed while I was asleep. It was just a dream. I sighed with relief as I made my way back onto the bed and into a sitting position. That was the most realistic dream I've ever had. It was kind of scary. I still have goosebumps. I rubbed my right arm and winced. Ow. I rolled up my sleeve to find a large bruise. Where did this come from? I mean, I remember one of those things punching me in my dream, but that dream was more real than I thought.
What? A shoe? Yeah, a shoe. I don't know what he was thinking, but I guess he wanted to add some more soul to his dish. You're so stupid, Spikes. Hey, leave me alone, Chemo. That's the freak. Let's see what an earshot can get. Like it matters. He won't do anything. Got some watermelons fresh from the field. Like that. We got them nice and that's so right. You don't even know.
Adeboil! Hey, Adeline. You look a little tired. Did you not get enough sleep?
Probably up late with another one of her paintings.
Yeah. That's what happened. It took longer than I thought.
I can't wait to see it.
Fire!
This pink puffball is Kirby, the hero of Popstar. The one that saved all of us countless times. He may look like a cute little marshmallow, but be warned, he is strong. The girl and the boy that are with him are Fumu and Boone. They were the ones that found him and befriended him when he crash-landed here many years ago. Boone's a little more laid back than his sister, but they're both pretty cool to me.
Hey, Marx.
Hey.
And that one over there in the jester hat is Marx. I'm not entirely sure what he is, but I know that a little over a year ago, he forced the sun and moon to fight and tried to take over Popstar. Kirby defeated him by sending him into the comet Nova. Miraculously, he survived, and Kirby brought him back to Popstar. At first, everyone thought Kirby was crazy for doing such a thing. Basically, everyone hates Marx for what he's done. I know Fumu and Boone only tolerate him because of Kirby. I didn't think much of him either, until one night on my way home. It was raining pretty hard, and it was chilly outside. Luckily, I had my umbrella on me. I wasn't walking particularly fast because I loved the sound and smell of the rain. But it had been a long day, and I was ready to get home.
It sure is coming down. I should walk a little faster.
While I was walking, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye.
Huh?
It was a cardboard box, old and worn by the weather, but the box itself wasn't what surprised me the most. Inside the box sat Marx, eyes clenched and expression hard, as if he was trying to brace himself from the rain. He looked so pitiful. I walked up to him and kneeled down next to his box, a frown plastered on my face as I held the umbrella over him. He opened his eyes and looked up at me. I could practically see the fear in his eyes, and it was heartbreaking. I remember thinking to myself,
The poor thing. He's frightened.
And as if my body was acting on its own, I picked him up and held him to me. He was shivering, obviously cold from the rain, but when I put my hand on his head to shield the rain, I could feel how warm he was. I stopped thinking after that and rushed home, Marx in one arm and the umbrella in the opposite hand. I was so determined to get him out of the rain that the umbrella wasn't even over me anymore and was covering Marx instead. When I got home, I sat him on an oversized pillow that I had laying around my main room, and I put a wet cloth on his forehead. Afterwards, I wrapped him up in a blanket and sat next to him. I looked down at him with concern. I couldn't help but feel sorry for him. It's hard to believe that this is the terror everyone hates so much. He seems so small and helpless.
I heard that.
Sorry. I thought you were asleep.
I've been called worse. Don't worry.
Regardless, no matter how evil you are, you don't deserve such treatment.
I'm not. I gave that up.
Huh?
I said I gave that up. I didn't want that to begin with.
You didn't want to take over Popstar? Then why did you...
I don't like talking about it. I guess you could say I just lost sight of myself.
Lost sight?
Yeah. For a moment, I wasn't myself. I didn't like it. What does it matter anyway?
I never thought I would regret not liking someone so much. Turns out he was just like me. I noticed around Dreamland that he dealt with the same bullies that I did. And if what he told me was true, then he was influenced, just like I was.
Why are you staring at me like that?
No reason. You aren't as bad as I thought you were.
Well, yeah. It could be worse. I could be that blubberbutt you guys call a king.
Well, you weren't wrong about that. Marx then grinned a toothy grin that I couldn't forget. It wasn't a normal smile, not like the ones I saw from Kirby and the others. It was hard to describe it, really. It was more along the lines of, he was smiling, but he wasn't. Does that make sense? I let him stay over that night. That way I could monitor him. I even ended up falling asleep on a pillow near him. I was scared that if I strayed too far, he would need my help. Miraculously, he recovered overnight. I guess that's a talent of his? Who knows? Regardless, he was better and was gone when I woke up. It made me a little sad to see him go, but I was fine with it. It wasn't his nature to travel around. Afterwards, we were on friendly terms, saying hi to each other, but that was about it. I would still see him around, but I don't know.
Boyle! What is it, Kirby? Elline, Boyle!
What?
Hello, Kirby. I see you've been well. That's good to know.
So this is the line you were talking about.
Boyle, Boyle! Pleased to meet you.
Sup?
What's up?
Nothing much. Do you know her?
No. I've never seen her before.
You see how they ignore you? Even little Kirby over there.
What? No, he's friendly to everyone. He wouldn't just...
Huh?
You know he'll leave you, just like everyone else does. I mean, think about it. How many friends do you really have?
But I...
Adeleine?
Huh? Adi Boyle?
What will you have once they leave you?
Adi Boyle!
Addie, what's wrong? A migraine?
Boyle? Are you hurt?
Kirby!
Boyle.
Huh? What happened? Did I...
Adeleine, how could you just shove Kirby like that? He was only trying to help.
Such a rude girl, shoving people for no reason.
I knew we shouldn't have trusted her kind. She was trouble from the start.
Why isn't she apologizing? Kirby did nothing wrong.
Hey, what's going on here?
Addie shoved Kirby. He wasn't even doing anything. He was only trying to help her.
What? That's preposterous.
What do you mean? We saw it with our own eyes.
Now look here, you. I've known this painter for at least 3 years now, and I know she wouldn't just go around and hurt someone for no reason. Hey, Adeleine, wait!
Adi Boyle!
Ugh, now look what you bozos did. You ran her off.
I can't believe you're taking her side, Your Majesty.
Peh, like I would believe anything you lot would say. You're all making a fuss over nothing.
Kirby? Who was she?
What even happened back there? I don't understand. Why were they all looking at me like that I was a bad guy? Did I really shove Kirby? Kirby. He looks so shocked. What have I done?
That wasn't you. Don't worry. I understand you're scared. Trust me, I know you weren't in control.
What?
Oh! Whoopsie doodles! How rude of me! Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Elline, and I'm here to help.